quorum. Yep, six is quorum.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Her brother.
I actually didn't hear from,
Yeah.
I think I heard from anybody. I'll have to ask Gina.
Yeah, there's not many cars in the parking lot, so it's a good thing.
Call the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order for Wednesday, September 13th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Ralph Gonzalez, Mark Leisner, Mark Piante,
Here.
Tom Whitmire,
Here.
Mayor Hagerman,
Here.
Tom Boardman,
Here?
Chuck Watson,
Here?
Chad Briggs, Carolyn Witt,
Here.
Mike Wood,
Here.
Selma Yashik.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the July 10th, 2023 meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Item number 3, file number 230901, 610 West 2nd Street, short-term rental. Sal?
All right. Good evening. It's good to see everyone. We were off last month, so it's been a while. And before I get started, I just want to update, I'm sure everyone's been paying attention, but since the moratorium has lifted in August and council adopted the revised ordinances on short-term rentals, but essentially they did, there was some back and forth for a month, but they ended up going with P&Z's recommendations. So there are the 150-foot buffer, R2 overlay only as a special use permit, and they are not permitted in the other residential districts. Some of the things we did talk about with parking, we didn't codify because the thought was parking can be conditionalized. Everyone's different. Some of them have alleys, especially in R2 overlay. It can be, you know, very different from block to block. So other than that, they pretty much accepted, I think they did accept P&Z's recommendations. So with that, I'll get into our first one tonight, where both of these are short-term rental. I think getting in now that this is back open, but the applicant is asking for the permit at 610 West 2nd Street. You can see here, this is just west of the International Shoe Factory. Sorry, I've been looking for my laser pointer. It is just east. I don't have much to point at on this, but see here, it is 2 houses east into the block, but it does have alley access and a garage in the back that we have asked the applicant, and they do intend to be able to use that for their future tenants. And as you can see here, it is zoned R2 overlay and outside of any existing buffers. So right now, that's the only existing buffer that's in the general area. And as we talked about, the commercial districts don't create a buffer, so that's why you don't see one here. But in the R2 overlay here, so they're outside of that, and other than that, it meets the requirements, still residential in nature, and so we recommend approval.
Questions, comments by board?
The applicant is here, obviously, and if there's any questions, sure you can grill her.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak?
I'm Marlon Heidman, and I currently live at 2604 Cardinal Crest Court. However, we purchased this property as our primary residence. We are in the process of renovating it. It's a 100-year-old home, and we do have our demo permit, and we've been doing some beautiful work. Our intention is to live in it as our primary property, and then we're creating we have a separate entrance to the basement area, so we're creating like a little studio apartment for some of the events that happen just in the downtown district. I know the VFW 218, they're gonna have, our Legion, I'm sorry, they plan on having 2 years of tournaments coming up, and that would be a great place for, you know, a couple or small family to come. We have parking kind of more of a bed and breakfast. I would look at it as a family-owned residence to stay and kind of get a little flavor of being downtown and being able to walk. Probably Blues Fest, Wine Fest, things like that, and definitely be doing background investigation for, people that would come and stay, or just word of mouth. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So you said in the basement?
Pardon, yes.
The basement is where it would be, do you have the egress requirements for that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. There's a separate entrance and exit, entrance, and it's separate from the home, and it also has all the requirements.
You've already talked to the city about that?
Yes,
Okay.
Blake and I
Blake and
have
you,
been in
okay.
discussion.
Very good.
Mm-hmm,
I won't
Yes.
ask any more.
yes.
Questions, comments by board? Think that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
time. I appreciate it.
Anyone else that would like to speak on this? Any further discussion? If not,
I'd like to move we approve.
And second it?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
All right, and because of the change in schedule, I did have to send out multiple letters. This will not go on the 18th, this will go October 2nd to City Council. Didn't have enough time to put it in the paper, so we did update the letters to reflect that.
Next item, number 4, file number 230902, 202 Stafford Street, short-term rental. Sal?
All right, this is almost identical request, although it is a little bit further east on the intersection of Second and Stafford. And it doesn't have access to an alley or additional parking, but because it is a corner lot, it does have, 2 side streets that they can park on that are in front of the primary residence. And then actually the adjoining property is owned by the applicant, so they can park, without saying they're parking in front of a neighbor's property, they could technically park down to this corner as well. As you can see here, it's still Zone R2 overlay, so no concern there. I do have this highlighted because we actually discussed this internally. If this were to come up and we had 2 that were within 150 feet, it would have to be strictly based on when we receive the application, but this is 240 feet away. So buffers will overlap, but they won't be inside each other's buffers. So we recommend approval.
Questions, comments by board? If not, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this?
Hi, I'm Steve Caton. I'm the resident there at 202. Yes, I'm seeking approval for a short-term rental. When I purchased this home, I believe it was made to be a short-term rental. I would like the opportunity to be able to rent it out when I go visit family out of state and things like that.
Any questions by board? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak on this? No further discussion?
Motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So you'll meet council at the same date.
Yep, October 2nd.
Moving on to other discussion, comprehensive plan update.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a very brief update. First of all, we did send a notice to the commission and the committee and council. We did have council approve a draft version of that economic development strategy. We didn't want anyone to think we were hopping a step in getting that approved. That was strictly for grant purposes. They needed that adopted by a resolution because they're the EDA's deadline or end of fiscal year is the same as ours. So in order to award a grant in September, they have to have that. So I appreciate everyone's understanding with that. We will have a full review, obviously, of both documents. Our next public forum, the third and final actually, is September 26th. 6 PM in the lower level of the auditorium. So we have sent that out via invitation to, obviously, our boards and commissions. I sent it to the school districts again, as well, both high schools in the school district, and then as well as the Chamber of Commerce. So we're hoping to get as much final feedback as possible, because they'll have, this will kind of be the final draft to the public, the proposal from our consultant, and then everything after that will be done by committee, planning, zoning, and city council. So ideally, what will happen is we'll have our public forum on the 26th. They will have a draft to our committee in October. It will be on P&Z in November, and then adopted by council in December, would be, if everything goes according to plan. You know, there's nothing written in stone that it has to be done in the year 2023, but obviously, having the 23 to 33 plan, that was our goal all along, so.
What time was that again?
6 o'clock.
And where at?
It is the lower level of the auditorium.
Same as last time?
Yeah, same as last time. It's rented out. It is on a Tuesday
Right?
this time because of there's some leagues in there, so we had to move it. We've been trying to keep it on Wednesdays, but
I hope it's not pickleball leagues.
we may have some jumping around. We may have
Rock and
some
roll.
sound in front of us, so. But, yep. And that's the only update I have on the comp plan. So we've had a couple meetings with the consultant, just kind of making adjustments here and there. You know, just of some easy things that we've, you know, hey, topographically, we don't think this is the best idea for, you know, a large sports complex, that kind of thing. We've asked them to move around and bring to the public forum, so.
But you feel pretty good about the,
Yeah, yep, I mean, we need to get, I think it's gonna be a lot that's gonna have to be get done in October, November, because putting the, you know, the actual comp plan is one thing, but the internal goals and objectives for each department, that was a big thing. We told the consultant that we need, you know, every year, the city administrator sits down with department heads and comes up with goals. The idea was we would have goals 1 through 3, 3 through 5, 5 through 7, all the way through. And so there's kind of a timeline to achieving all the objectives we can in the comp plan, so, you know.
Sal, do you know, did they look at the ESCI report that the fire department did at all? Were they given any of that information?
Not unless Tim did it, gave it to him himself.
Okay.
So if you want to send, if you have that easy access without me contacting Tim, you can send it to me,
I'll
otherwise.
talk to Tim later.
Yeah.
We'll do another meeting with him and find out, because I think they should have that if they're gonna be looking at each of the
Yep.
department heads. Don't you, Mayor? Yeah.
Yep.
Because there's definitely some influence there.
Well, yeah, absolutely, because each department, and then stuff that's not going to come up at a public forum is, you know, hey, we want to slip line all these pipes in this neighborhood by, you know, 2030. Well, that needs to be listed in there.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so you don't think the sewer and water is going to be a big play for the
yeah, I
comprehensive?
don't know if anyone's going to be bringing that up on the 26th, but they're more than welcome to. I will, man. No, they have been in contact with our engineering and public works, or the consultant has, so.
Man, that's exciting stuff.
Yes.
Sewer and water.
Yeah. Any other questions, discussion on that item? If not, I'll entertain one last motion.
Motion to,
Approve your,
motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
is there a second?
Well, let John, because
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Hey.
Trying to get my tongue untied here.
Yeah.
great.
Did you, your wife?
No neighbors.